In our case, we simulate it so much that the day that arrives where you're going to go to space today, you don't let yourself believe it. If you let yourself believe it, I think you would have driven yourself crazy just in the emotional roller coaster. And if you get a 2-week delay, it would crush you, right? If you let yourself believe it. So you kind of push your emotions to the back and you go, yeah, someday I'll probably going to fly in space, but I'm not going to get too involved in it because it'll whittle me down to nothing. I'm going to space today, but you're kind of keeping the little boy in check that's running around going wee inside you. But as every minute passes that day, as you put on your spacesuit, as you go down the elevator, you ride the vehicle out towards the launch pad where your spaceship is sitting up on a launch pad at a spaceport, you start to think, this might really happen today. You ride the elevator up. Oh, it's interesting insight. The elevator that takes you up to the rocket ship is really fast, and it's one of those elevators that when it stops, you feel a little light for a second. So all of us, every astronaut, jumps, so we all float around in that elevator. Yeah, we really do float around. And so,
that's
and then
okay. That's okay. You can ask.
What do you like to do? Exactly the same thing. We like to jump, so when it's starting to go down, everybody floats, and then when you jump at the end when it's stopping, everybody gets sort of squished. And that's what it's like on your way to a spaceship, also. And we crawl.
That's the feeling. So
we crawl into the spaceship one by one on our hands and knees. You get up into your seat, and I was sitting next to Jerry Ross, who'd been to space 4 times. Jerry's the coolest, calmest astronaut I'd ever met. He'd been my role model through all the training. And whenever I didn't know what to do, I just looked to see what Jerry was doing and tried to copy what Jerry was doing. So I looked over at Jerry, and suddenly his knees started going like this. And I thought, Jerry's excited. Holy cow, something's going to happen here today. We're getting close. And the closer we got to launch, the more real it became. At about 30 seconds before launch, the vehicle started to really come alive, where it was self-contained, where the ground wasn't powering it anymore. And then 6 seconds before launch, the engines start to light. And there's this huge throb of power through the spaceship. And we're all watching all the gauges to make sure the pressures and everything are right. And there's so much force, it's sort of behind the spaceship where these engines are, so the whole thing bends forward, and we're sitting way up here, so we feel the whole spaceship sway forward. It's called the twang, as it bends forward, and then as soon as it twangs back to vertical again, the big solid rockets light, and it's as if some huge truck has just crashed into your spaceship, and suddenly there's this hand underneath your back that is just pushing you up to space, and it's vibration and it's power and it's squishing you in your chair, and every second you're burning 12 tons of fuel.
Does it hurt? Does your body hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt. It's sort of like some progressively fatter and fatter person is laying on you, and they're slapping you as you go up. You know, you're kind of like shattered and squished in your chair, and there's so much vibration that your eyeballs are kind of jittering, so you actually have to grab and pull yourself against the G so your neck can soak up the vibration so you can see all the instruments in front of you. And after 45 seconds, you're going faster than the speed of sound, straight up. And after 70 seconds, you're faster and higher than the Concorde ever went. And you're still accelerating straight up. And you're pinned in your chair and you're getting squished. And then after 2 minutes, there's a big explosion, the solid rockets come off, big blast of light, and then you've just got your liquid rockets pushing you like someone's in a dragster and they're just pushing on the gas heavier and heavier and heavier, and you're getting squished more and more in your chair as you're getting dragged from a standing start faster and faster and faster till after 8 minutes and 42 seconds, suddenly you are going 8 kilometers a second. You're going 28,000 kilometers an hour, and the engines suddenly shut off, and you're weightless. It's like some gorilla has been pounding on you and they grabbed you and they threw you off a cliff. Just like that. It's an instantaneous transition. And then everybody, yeah, but you are falling. You're instantly falling around the world. And everybody laughs because your book that's been your checklist on your lap suddenly starts floating up in front of you. And all the little washers and bits of dirt that were on the floor suddenly float up next to you, and you pop your helmet off, and it's like a flying pumpkin in front of you, just floating and tumbling.
Is it exactly what you've experienced in simulation, or is there something idiosyncratic about the reality?
Simulations are really important for trying to understand what reality is going to be like, but all simulations are slightly wrong. Even your best simulator has flaws, and none of them, no simulator anywhere can simulate the sustained force of that launch and simulate weightlessness, perpetual weightless. We can't simulate weightlessness. So it's like magic. It's like suddenly in here, if someone suddenly shut gravity off and everyone started flying around the room, you'd all laugh, and then you'd all kind of reach around all spastic, and then you'd grab onto something, and then you'd start playing with it, and you would play with it for 5 months. It's a wonderful transition.
What everybody always wants to know.